What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. Today we're going over the Mirror Defense meta. The newest game mode added to Warframe and Citrine's last wish is Mirror Defense. And it is, it's somewhat interesting, I'll say. There's two very different roles that we played in the strategy guide today. We'll go over some builds and all that. This is after about 12 hours of gameplay testing for this game mode, okay? So, the big things here are going to be, this is where you're going to get Citrine's parts. You're also going to get this resource, like these red and blue crystals, and those red and blue crystals will be used to turn into Otak for basically getting arcanes and a pity system kind of thing for Citrine's parts. But before we go over this, let's just quickly give you the context of what Mirror Defense is. So we're in game right now. The new mission is going to be on Mars. Now, it's got kind of a combination of Mars and Venus together, but we'll talk about it a little bit. So Mirror Defense is on Mars. It's only on Mars. And for this meta strategy, I'm going to recommend you do the Steel Path version. Every couple of, every time you pick up 50 crystals, see that on the top left corner it says Citrine's Remnants Collected. After you collect 50 of those, you will get a resource drop. On the normal path, non-steel path, you get 5 per. On the steel path, you get 7 per. So if you're planning on farming this a lot, and by the way, you need to do this a lot to get the stuff, do it on the steel path if you have the gear for it. Technically, you don't even need to kill the enemies, really, but we'll be going over builds how to kill steel path acolytes relatively easily. So the main meta right now is crowd control. Stunning the enemies, make it so they can't shoot this objective. You are defending this thing. And the frames we're using, the meta squad is going to be 2 Titanias for picking up those crystals. We'll show that in a little bit. 1 Protea with Gloom, and we'll talk about why Protea is meta in a little bit. And then the last slot is kind of like a flex slot. Any crowd control type of frame with the helmet ability Silence from Banshee. Now, you technically could have Silence from Banshee on one of your Titanias, or both your Titanias for that matter. But it also works on, like, Khora, for example. Vauban is good. Frost is actually good for this, too. So you have your choices. And as you can see, I'm kind of just like standing around. That is what this meta strategy will do for you. You can just stand around, and like I said, I haven't even proven that the kills actually do increase this at all. So the combination of Silence from Protea, or Silence from Gloom, obviously the cookie's showing a simulacrum. This is what the strategy does. We're making the enemies completely worthless, basically, so they can't even get next to the defense objective to shoot it. Additionally, Protea's shield grenades will give the defense objective shield regen and shields, which means it will not get one-shot by Eximus. But since we're running Silence from Banshee will make enemy Eximus not cast their ability, so they're basically just normal enemies. All you need to do for this strategy is break Eximus Overguard and have Khora Strangledome going. It will stun the Eximus once the Overguard's gone, and you just sit around and dance. Wait for the Titania to pick up the crystals. So basically, if you want, since we've made it so easy, you can go to Otak and get the stuff we're talking about. So as far as things you should be looking out for to get with this loot, we have things like some of the new arcanes. Of course, there is this stuff at the top up here. We have the Stephalos blueprint. We got these arcanes. The best arcane so far is going to be Secondary Encumber. If you do level 10,000 disruption missions or like Void Cascade or whatever, this is going to give you an extra status effect 24% of the time with your CO procer. And it can be a proc that you're not modded for. For example, on my Epitaph build with Viral Heat, it can give me like magnetic procs or like radiation procs. I'm not modded for that. So very, very good. Some of these other ones seem interesting. I haven't really like invested in them too much, but yeah. And there's also like a Captura Seed and stuff here. So this is going to be your pity system. And as far as how many crystals per hour you're going to be looking at, about a little bit over 300 per hour if you are running the Titania strat. So I recommend running the Titania strat, as I said. So we'll be going over builds, and we go to the Simulacrum, and we'll start showing that stuff off.
Do great things.
All right. So, yeah, like I said, killing stuff is not important. I have done multiple hours of testing, and we screenshot how much loot we got at the end, did one run with tons and tons of kills. The biggest thing that's going to dictate how many crystals you get, guys, is how fast you're picking up these little mini crystals. In the in-between spot right here, crystals will also spawn. So if you're being a good teammate, if you're doing a 4-stack, you should be helping your Titania player out. They should be, not the only one picking up the crystals. Of course, you can just kind of like chill and hang out with the Strangledome up. But yeah, Titania should be getting some help here in the long run. So let me get the Simulacrum, and we'll show. I'm going to show you builds for Khora, Protea, Titania, and a weapon to kill the Acolyte with. I'll be showing the Fragor Prime, which is currently farmable with the Vauban and Atlas Resurgence currently. So As far as Protea, the reason Protea is so good is not only will she give the crystal some shields, she's also going to be using the dispensary ability, which will drop energy orbs and ammo and health on the ground, which, you know, if the Titanias are flying around and maybe get low on energy, just have the Titania fly mid to your dispensary and pick up some energy orbs. Now, I'm sorry about this, but I currently have a strength invigoration on Protea, but this build will work without a strength invigoration. So you want to have tons and tons of strength. Due to Gloom being a 95% slow when maxed out, this will make the enemies completely worthless, especially combined with Silence Khora. So yeah, big slow, the life still doesn't matter. Our dispensary is going to be dropping energy orbs constantly, good for energy conversion, giving us 50% more strength. And remember, Protea's passive is every 4 abilities cast, you get a increase to power strength by 100%. That's why Gloom is so good on her, because you need tons of strength for Gloom for max slow, and Protea can get tons of strength very easily. Additionally, Blaze Artillery can kill enemies if you really want to bother with that, but the main stats you want here is you want really high range and you want really high strength. So energy conversion, pick up an orb, get 50% extra energy. Loot detector will mark the crystals on the map for your Titania players, so they'll probably appreciate that. Multi-augmented for more strength. Arcane Energize, honestly unnecessary with how much energy we're getting here. But yeah, you can just get tons and tons of slow, and here's just an example of that. So we plop down the dispensary, we cast 2 more abilities. Now it says 100% increased ability strength. That's when you cast Gloom. This Gloom is like maximum strength, like for real. These guys are not going to be able to like really fight me. If I was to throw a slash nade down, they'd be getting stunned as well from that too. Look, they're trying to slam attack. It's just, I want to jump away before they can even get their hand on the ground. So, yeah, that's one aspect of it. And then, like I showed in that clip, you throw in silence too, and they're basically perma-stunned. You can just dance. So that's the build for Protea. Of course, like I said, you probably want a weapon to kill the Acolyte, because on the Steel Path, the Acolyte will appear, and you want to get that Steel Essence too. So in this video clip, I'm using the Brahma. I wouldn't really recommend the Brahma as like the best Acolyte killing weapon, but it's technically fine. Going to the Khora build, the one I was using in the footage, I've actually got the Fragor Prime, which will also show too. So the thing about Khora is, it's not really a normal Khora build. I'm not even bothering with the stat stick. You could go the stat sticker. If you want to just play a normal Khora build and subsume silence on there, be my guest, because you will have a Protea on the point with you, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. But yeah, silence for Banshee, 53 meter radius, going to stun enemies, going to make them, if they're Eximus, they're unable to use Eximus abilities. Combine it with Gloom. You saw the clip earlier, they just can't move pretty much. And that will work on every enemy that's not an Eximus. This will also technically silence Acolytes too. Strangledom for Khora will stun enemies. We're not worried about killing them, because killing them doesn't matter for this mode so far. If they get if they somehow get close enough to get like anywhere near the point, this will stun them as well. If they're not Eximus, Overguard is going to be what you have to take care of. Bring your best weapons to break Overguard. Honestly, I could put Loot Radar in here too, just to mark this stuff for Titania. But this is a waste. Accumulate Whip Claw is a waste. You could just throw on more duration there to be more lazy. It's really going to be up to you. Everything, just be as lazy as possible. Max range, max duration. You don't need any strength or silence at all. And as far as killing the Acolyte, I've got a Fragor Prime with a heavy attack initial combo build. Now, I do have a Riven. If you don't have a Riven, just put a crit damage mod on that slot instead. It will be totally fine. There you go. Same build, basically, just a little bit worse. And this will kill the Acolyte very nicely. As this is also, I have crit damage shards on my Khora, so I have a 10x multiplier. So Corrupt Charge and the initial combo built in to the Fragor will give you a massive heavy attack. And like I said, if you have that new meta Arcane Secondary Encumber, use that with Condition Overload, you'll get tons of procs and you'll hit big damage numbers. Additionally, Silence does give you increased melee damage as well, so it's just pretty messed up, honestly. So we'll see how proc them up. We're not even building combo on this build. And there you go. Not bad, not bad. This has follow through, of course, so it's not gonna be hitting full numbers for every enemy. And yeah, that will kill an Acolyte in like basically 1 or 2 hits. Even with 4-player health scale. If you didn't know this, Acolytes actually have their health scale depending how many players are in the squad. So if you are on a full squad, the Acolyte has more health than if you were solo, one-shotting with like the Trumna or something. So we've shown the frames that get to have an easy time playing. Let's see the frame that actually has to do the work, Titania. Also, like I said, you could change this around. There's not really like any specific reason that you have to have any like, you know, specific helmets on Titania. But what you're gonna really want is you don't want to be running the augment mod Razorwing Blitz. Whenever you cast an ability with Titania, it will make her move faster. And I'm gonna have some Titania gameplay on the screen of what you're doing for this as well. So this is just my normal farming build for Titania. I ran this for over an hour, and it was totally fine. You can use Neutron Star to easily get more stacks of Razorwing Blitz. When you cast an ability with Razorwing Blitz, you get increased fire rate and movement speed. We only really care about the movement speed here. And yeah, just sprint speed mods make it move faster. Preparation, like I said, this is a speedrunning farming build. You can min-max this more if you felt like it. But all you're doing is flying around in a big circle picking up crystals over and over again. Protea will give you increased sprint speed and parkour velocity, pretty nice. And this new Citrine shotgun is really, really bad. So, yeah, the Titania build doesn't really matter that much. You have to have people willing to play Titania and willing to do this. Flying around, picking up crystals for like an hour plus. So, for the sanity of your players, I would not recommend having one Titania for this. Have two Titanias and have like one Titania on the left side of the room, the other Titania on the right side of the room. Not only will that make it less annoying for the Titania player to have to pick up every crystal, but you'll actually be getting more crystals over time because every time a crystal spawns, you'll already have someone over there ready to pick it up. That's the thing. The quicker you pick up crystals, the quicker you're going to get this stuff, and potentially the more you'll get over time. I feel like the reason people are thinking that kills matter is not only because the devs said kills matter for this, but I mean, it feels like there's sometimes they're like, oh, I got more of that run for some reason. Until they change it, it does not seem like kills do matter, guys. Yeah, so it's only these two rooms, by the way. So once you memorize all the crystal spawn spots, you're good for the rest of your game session. You don't need to like learn any more crystal spawn spots. So like two rooms, and yeah, they don't really vary at all. So that's basically going to be it for the Titania. Like, it doesn't really. The biggest thing for this is like learning where the crystal spawns are for your next run. If you have elite on-call crew members, that lets you be even more lazy if you coordinate the timers. So for the laziest strat possible, have a Khora in the middle or a Vauban putting down their CC. Have somebody use their elite on-call crew member with a Czar. That will blow up all the enemies. It's a 3-minute duration, a 12-minute cooldown. So if you have 4 people with the elite on-call crew member with a Czar, throw one down. 3 minutes later, next guy in line throws his down. Have it like hold position. After that 3 minutes up, next guy throws theirs down. At that point, there should be one person that has their on-call off cooldown. So you can just rinse and repeat that for hours and hours until you just get bored and go play another game or something. So, did I mention that the waves are time-based here? That's why we're not worrying about killing stuff. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. Unlike normal defense, where killing stuff as fast as possible is important, this killing doesn't matter here, apparently. Picking up crystals as fast as possible is what matters. So very similar to like Void Flood or like mobile defense, I guess. We're just moving from place to place, picking up crystals. It gets really, really boring, but this is technically the meta, as far as I can tell. If you guys have any other ideas of what you think will be better than this, let me know. But, I mean, even DE said Titania is the meta for this, and the rest is just going to be a CC frame. Do you want to play Frost for some armor strip? Do you want to play Vauban because I don't play Vauban that often? Do you want to play Khora because Khora is just good? Gara would be fine. There's lots of options here. And you could even have a Wisp to give Titania some movement speed too. But I do think that Protea is extremely nice to get that ridiculous Gloom slow easily, to get the shield gating on the tower, which is actually more important than you would think. If you're on the steel path, those Eximus with the Fire Pillar Blitz Eximus, they can one-shot that tower. It does like 70,000, maybe not 70, it does a lot of damage. It can one-shot Anaros, that's for sure. So yeah, if you guys found this video fun and helpful, let me know. I appreciate all the support. I'll see you with a Citrine video tomorrow. I'll see you on stream tonight. And yeah, I hope that you guys enjoy the update. The one big problem, of course, is that Steel Essence nerf, but I'm hoping DE makes a comment on it before I make my video on Saturday. So consider yourself warned. Alright guys, I'll see you next time. Take it easy and peace.